What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Too Good for Theaters video. Today, we're going to be breaking down the Patriots' first selection of the 7th round, that being Marcus Bryant, tackle out of Missouri. So let's get right into it. So starting off here with Marcus Bryant, he is 22 years old, 6'8", 318 pounds, 220th overall pick in this year's draft. He spent 5 years at college. He actually played the first 4 at SMU, where he actually transferred to Missouri for his final season, where he actually played opposite of Armand Membu, of course, the 7th overall pick by the New York Jets. And Membu actually stayed at right tackle because Marcus Bryant was projected to be a very good left tackle for Missouri. So Missouri obviously felt comfortable with both them at their more natural positions here. But taking a look at Marcus Bryant and his profile here, he's obviously massive, 6'8", 318 pounds. He has really good upper body strength, and he really is able to kind of use his extension with his long wingspan to really take away edge defenders and use his strength well to really not let them get by him. And for his size, he has rather quick feet. However, he really does struggle in terms of actual bend. So when he's going up against some of these big-time speed rushers that he's going to be facing at the NFL level, there are going to be times where he's simply not going to be able to catch up to them if he does not get his technique better, or at least his bend better at the next level. And teams are really going to focus that if he's playing too tall and he's really using that size kind of against him, then teams are absolutely going to target him. And that's really where he's going to have to work out the majority of his struggles in terms of pass protection here, as well as he is going to have to do a better job of recognizing some of the twists and stunts that some of these better programs did employ against him. And of course, the NFL is going to be looking into that. So there are going to be a ton of chances for him to really kind of prove himself in terms of getting smarter, or at least being able to recognize some of the defensive line mismatches that they're trying to create for him and all the confusion that they're going to throw his way, especially when he did have some struggles with that in college. However, this is the guy that you really just want to take a flyer on in the 7th round. Obviously, he is extremely massive as a human being. And if things pan out, he could be one of those guys like a Trent Brown for you who really stabilize one of your offensive tackle positions. Of course, you're kind of not hoping for that with the Patriots in particular, because you're hoping that that guy is Will Campbell. However, if Marcus Bryant turns out to be a very good swing tackle for you here, that would probably be preferable for the Patriots. Maybe he puts on some good film and they're able to ship him off here to a more serviceable location for his needs. However, I do think that is one of the most appropriate comparisons, that of course being Trent Brown. And that's probably going to be his ceiling as an NFL prospect. It is going to be a hard work for him to really develop and get to that next level, but best of luck to him. And hopefully he's able to stick around with the Patriots for a couple of years as that swing tackle, maybe behind a guy like Caden Wallace for that 4th tackle spot here in New England. Taking a look into his college statistics here, however, he played in 13 games in the 2024 campaign. He had an overall offensive grade of 75, a pass block rate of 73.2, and a run block rate of 75.6. He took 459 pass block snaps, allowing 22 pressures, 14 hurries, 3 QB hits, and gave up 5 sacks, and he was penalized 5 times. So not a perfect senior year by any means. However, he was productive enough for that Missouri offense. And taking a look at his run blocking here compared to his schemes, more so I would say, he was more so a zone blocker, where he took 259 snaps, which was around 59% of his run block scheme, compared to 34% in terms of gap blocking scheme, where he played 154 snaps. And of course, like I said before, Josh McDaniels tends to typically run more so a gap scheme here. However, it's not like this guy's never run a gap scheme here. He's just more so familiar with zone. So, of course, with Doug Marrone there, Josh McDaniels, and of course Dante Scarnecchia all going to be consulting, I'm sure he'll be able to translate more to this offense and that gap scheme here. And hopefully, he'll be able to carve himself out a role on this 53-man roster for the Patriots. However, he probably is going to be a practice squad candidate, or at the very highest, a end-of-roster type guy for the first couple of years here. And it is going to be a long shot for him to really make his way onto this roster consistently for a multitude of years. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Am I a little low on Bryant, or do you think that he is probably one of these more so real long shots to make this roster here, especially for the Patriots. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next one.